right, getting back to bridging our sexual differences, let's take a crack at shades of submission.
I exercise control in all things.
It must be really boring.
My tastes are very singular. You wouldn't understand.
Enlighten me then. Why are you trying to change me?
So most of the world is all in knots waiting to see 50 Shades of Grey on the big screen, but there are still many women who believe this is sending a bad message, not just to young girls, but to women in general, especially the whole submission clause. You know, for the one or two of you who haven't read it yet, here are some excerpts, for example, from the contract that Christian wants Anastasia to sign. So he gives her this contract once he tells her, okay, this is the kind of life I live. And in summary, it basically says a submissive will serve the dominant in any way he sees fit, will always want to please the dominant at all times to the best of your ability. And for the submissive, you agree to any sexual activity deemed fit and pleasurable by the dominant.
Any?
Eagerly and without hesitation, yes. So the submissive has to accept the dominant as her master, and there's this understanding that you're now the property that's in the contract of the dominant to be dealt with as the dominant pleases during the term. So in the book, this is the contract she sees. She is young. She's actually never been with anybody before this. She's hesitant. She doesn't end up signing it. But it is part of the BDSM lifestyle. Like, it kind of brought this all to light, and that's where the talk came. You know, women in that lifestyle say outside of the bedroom,
must be really boring.
Submissives are not what you think. They're not these
My tastes are very
non-feminists, you know.
Right.
You wouldn't
That's
understand.
True. Now, of course, and I have to kind of put this caveat out there because, yeah, I have not read this, but when I saw the contract, I said, something is definitely wrong with this guy. And as a psychotherapist, I don't use the word crazy very much, but you see that his sexual behaviors are playing out based on the psychosis of his mind. I guess I'm going to go there. I'm going to be very careful.
When you have clients come in with issues, sexual issues, you say their style in the bedroom says a lot about their
does. Look at our personalities. And I'll use myself as an example. In the DISC, I'm a DC. I'm a dominant competent. And so really what that means is very often I can come across very in your face sometimes. But then I do have another side to me that's very sweet and very kind. Now that's a choice that I've developed to learn to balance that, right? So what we see here is she's a virgin. She has not, you know, kind of
I
bridged
exercise
that
control in all things.
area of having
must be
sex.
really
So
boring.
she's probably has some self-esteem.
My tastes are very
She's already
in the story.
singular.
Exactly. So that can be a problem. So yeah, we see that how we explore our sexuality
now,
and
as
our
far
personality.
as it being a bad influence for women, if a grown woman, maybe even married, a lot of married women say this has helped their relationship. If they're reading this book and they think this may be something I want to try, do you think that's necessarily a bad thing? Like, how do we know when it's an area of concern and when it's not healthy anymore?
That's a good question because there's a spectrum. There's so many shades of gray in between, right? No pun intended. But at the end of the day, how do you feel? Do you feel uncomfortable, or are you making a conscious decision and you are making a mature decision? Then that's your choice. But if you're being manipulated, that's a problem.